you ever wondered what it would be like if you could easily dismantle opponents with flawless moves and defeat even the biggest enemies with just a single strike?
Finish him! They're so even on total strikes.
That is real life ninja stuff.
Fatality.
I know I have. The problem is, other than in video games or even in your dreams, it's certainly impossible for something like that to happen. There's a reason weight class exists in professional fighting, and per the basic rules of combat, it gets exponentially more difficult when fighting against multiple opponents, no matter how skilled you are.
Fight back! Fight back! Fight back!
Unless you are John Wick.
Patience is waning.
Is this entertaining?
I mean, Yu-Gi. To this badass, numbers hardly mean anything, and the weight class, certainly irrelevant. What if he has to face armed opponents? He would still trump them as easily. Duh. This guy is the epitome of badass with the way he fights and takes down anyone who dares challenge him, or more importantly, his friends and family. And guess the most interesting part about all this? He's just in high school. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Teenage Mercenary, or Mercenary Enrollment. And this round is going to be so enjoyable. Stick around to the end and tell me just how much fun you had. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and welcome if you are new. Please like this video and subscribe if you end up enjoying it. I would really appreciate it a lot. And now, on to the video, shall we? Now, you read the title, saw the thumbnail, and even sat through that epic video intro. So you must already have an idea what this video is about. See, this webtoon is more than just about a high school power fantasy where the MC is so overpowered that it decimates his enemies in a single hit and is so proficient in the arts of combat while also excelling well enough in his academics that he can balance his less than perfect but peaceful new life in the bully infested and violence stricken world that he lives in. That was a lot to say all at once. But I hope I passed the message across. Yeah, this has all the cliche of the OP protagonist trope. His loving family, which consists of a younger sister and a sickly parent figure. I wonder where we've seen that before. But taking the story on its own merits, it also has its charms. The main character, Yu-Ijin, nearly died after a plane crash that killed both his parents, and for the next 10 years, he was stranded, spending his life as a mercenary just to survive. As a result, he got to acquire a pair of, let's say, skills that make him a nightmare for certain kinds of people.
But if you don't, I will look for you. I will find you. And I will kill you.
He is strong, skilled, smart, and most importantly, handsome. Very handsome. Let's ignore what a decade filled with malnutrition, excessive combat, sunburn, and a host of other hardships, which Ijin endured, by the way, will do to your body, and just give the main character the face of a model. You'd expect him to have some skin problems and permanent bodily damage that would cause disfiguration on his face and other parts of his body. But nope. It's crazy just how handsome this guy is. What do I know anyway? It's not like I'm some fitness expert or dermatologist. So what do I know about complex stuff like this? It's perfectly possible, normal even, to have someone go through all that Ijin went through and still have a rocking body and charming face. Could be genetics or something. I don't know. I'm a little jealous though. If only I had some of that Ijin juice. That came out wrong, didn't it? In any case, I digress. See, Ijin was separated from his family for so long and he lived a tough life, eventually losing his memories of who he used to be. Still, in a not so strange twist of fate, after saving a lieutenant and his team, Ijin was brought under their wing, and with their help, he got reunited with his family. Truly a happily ever after. for just the second episode. You see, the main story isn't about Jin's struggle with his memories, as he tries very hard to reconcile his past as a mercenary with his current reality, forging human connections and knowing what it's like to be integrated into modern society and not the harsh landscapes of the battlefield. I mean, the story shows some of that on the surface, but that isn't the main crux of Teenage Mercenary. No, it's about Jin using a certain set of skills to be a badass in everything he does. Forget all about character development that is earned after a series of difficult conflicts to resolve, or about the complexity of memory, both on his part and the part of his newfound family. Rather than the natural friction to exist between anyone, they seem to be getting along perfectly fine. I mean, it's wholesome and all, just unrealistic. And most importantly, forget all about the consequence that follows his not so normal integration into society. All that complex and incredibly arduous process of settling in and resolving the little issues that arise as a result. Psst, who needs all that? Instead, what we have is Jin getting the perfect starter pack for the overpowered protagonist's journey. He has a loving family to protect, a dark past that will soon come back to haunt him, and the ability to kick ass anytime he wants against anyone that challenges his or his family's safety. And let's not forget his sexy brother.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I just can't stress this enough, okay? Add all of these things together and you have Teenage Mercenary. In my last two videos, I went over segments like plot, characters, world building, etc. But there is no need for anything like that in this one. There's really only one important aspect of this story, and that is our dear protagonist. He is all that matters, really. Sure, you might want to throw in his adorable little sister or his doting grandfather or the friends he makes in school, but honestly, they are not very interesting or relevant. Yes, they have their moments, but they mostly serve as devices to prop up our MC and make him appear even more badass when the moment of truth arises. They are more like narrative devices to push the plot forward. And by plot, I mean Jin kicking some ass. And you know what? That's okay. You heard me right, it's perfectly fine. The thing is, I don't see a webtoon like Teenage Mercenary and expect to find a very complex, layered and intricate story that shows a boy's disconnect from a world he knew to the one he finds himself in as he wrestles between his current memories and the ones he had in the past while trying to create new ones for himself in the future. There's only one reason I read Teenage Mercenary, and the same applies to you. It's fun. Yup. Forget all I said about the cliche and repetitive routes that the story takes at times. At the end of the day, the webtoon is just so much fun. I can't count how many times I have returned to reread this webtoon. It's just a fun time. The action is peak, though not as realistic and grounded as, say, Wick Hero, which has very exaggerated action of course, but ultimately features a lot more realism, although it suffers from some of the same issues as Teenage Mercenary. Spoiler alert, Grey is also very handsome. The characters are fine for the most part. They could have been more complex or multifaceted, but none of their current traits really negatively impact the story. They perform their roles well, and everyone ultimately has a good time focusing on the amazing prowess of Jin. In case you couldn't already tell, I love this manhwa. I really do. It's something of a guilty pleasure of mine. On one hand, I know it is sorely lacking in a lot of aspects, and it is, well, cliche in its truest form, but I always come back to it since it just lets me forget about everything bad about my life and just have fun with the story. Or maybe I just like watching Jin fight. The way he glares at his opponent as he expertly maneuvers around him, the way he sweats, sprays in the air as he sprints towards his target, or how he flexes his muscles when he gets shirtless and exercise, or better yet, fights some more. I know all of these things I'm saying sound sus, but don't you worry. Try reading this manhwa and you'll definitely become just like me. You'll become Thanks for watching this video until the end. Looks like I've been away from my cat for so long. Hey Coco, say hi. Oh, she's shy. Moving on. What did I tell you from the start? Didn't you have fun watching me gush over a fictional character who is identical to a dozen more just like him? Well, I certainly know I did. Drop a like and comment so I know what you thought about the video, and please check out my other ones too. There is one here and one here. Make sure you check them out. I'm sure you're going to have a good time as well. It would really help out the channel and to encourage me to make more videos like this one. Thanks, and I'll see you all in the next one. Cheers.